Great. Again, thank you so much for joining tonight's webinar. Let me share my screen right now, and then we will get started. So I'm sharing my screen right now. If anybody cannot see my slides, please let me know. Everyone is muted at this point, but you can unmute yourself. So without further ado, welcome to Aquila Clouds webinar on cloud FinOps. It is our pleasure to have you attend this session today. And my name is Desmond Chan. I am the CPO and co-founder of Aquila Clouds, and I will be your presenter today. Some bookkeeping items. If you have any questions, please feel free to enter them in the chat window. We'll get to them as soon as we start our Q&A session. So firstly, let me introduce Aquila Clouds to you. At Aquila Clouds, we have a mission to provide you with a cloud finance management platform for the current era. Our platform is SaaS-based, and we provide full governance and visibility into your cloud deployment. We enable this paradigm of continuous monitoring and continuous optimization, CMCO, using our analytics, intelligence, and automation capabilities. You will see in our session today how we automate the cloud management task in the area of FinOps, meaning finance operations for the cloud. And so now let's look at our agenda for today. I am quite sure that you are all aware of cloud waste in your organization, and that's probably why you are attending this webinar. Let's talk about the extent of cloud waste in today's enterprise. Then we will talk about the common cloud cost optimization strategies. You can leverage these strategies in your own organization. In order to implement these strategies, you will need to get detailed visibility into your cloud deployments and be able to implement the actions easily. Are the cloud providers giving you all these capabilities? Well, the answer is no. The question whether we can do better comes to mind. How can we do better? We will let you know today. Then, as I said, we will open up for a quick survey at the end, and please pay attention to the chat room, and the link is already there. And don't open it before we finish the session, because that is the content of the survey is very much related to the content today. So again, cloud waste is real. We talked to a senior cloud infrastructure engineer at a cloud streaming media company, and he mentioned that they discovered unattached volumes, in other words, wasted storage, were costing them more than $400,000 per month. And this is very significant for just one organization. And we're only talking about storage. We're not even talking about over-provisioned instances, or any resources that are sitting there idle or anything. It's just storage that's not that's sitting there and costing them like $400,000 per month. So an IDC reports in 2020, there are $69.5 billion spent on cloud IT infrastructure. A big proportion of this spend is going into waste. An industry report says 40% of the instances are sized at least one size larger than needed. Non-production resources are idle 76% of the time. And as a result, on average, you are looking at around like 35% of the cloud spend going into waste. So to remediate this situation, there are some common strategies that you can employ. Right-size your instances. To right-size your instances, you need to figure out the resource utilization trends of your instances and decide what instance type is the best for your workload. And some cloud provider would give you this information, but you will still need to implement them yourselves. So that is one of the common cloud cost optimization strategies. And the second one is to shut down idle instances. And figuring out which instances are idle and shutting them down. Sorry, I will have to ask the audience to mute themselves if they could. Okay. Sorry, I had to go back and sorry about that. Yeah, so like let's come back to the common cloud cost optimization strategies. The second one is to shut down idle instances. You have to figure them out, you know, like which ones are idle, which ones are not. And you know, like either that you actually figure it out by writing your own script, or you can actually do a scan of your whole environment. And then one of our users actually told us that they spent like 3 months just looking through their organization with 500 engineers and figure out which instances can be shut down. So like this is not an easy task. Like you're thinking that, oh, it's so easy to figure out which idle instances that you have. The answer is like, you know, the minute that you give more flexibility to your engineering team, the whole chaos starts, right? And then the complexity of the problem actually multiplies. So yeah, so that is another thing that you will have to keep in mind. This is one good strategy, but you know, it may not come easy unless you have the right information. The third one is about right sizing your storage volumes, figuring out the right size in terms of IOPS, or like even the sheer size of the volumes can help you shrink your bill. And again, like what is right size for you? Like you know, if you have only one volume, then you can easily figure it out. But if you have like hundreds, thousands of volumes as a cloud operator, how are you going to make sure that you make the right decision? And then fourth, you know, another good strategy is to remove unattached volumes and snapshots. Like we talked about, you know, the 400,000 being wasted in one organization. And, you know, this is a very good strategy. And again, like trying to figure out which volumes are unattached and which snapshots are just sitting there and wasting your money. That one is the challenge, right? So like, again, like we need free flow of information here. And then the fifth strategy is to leverage different reservations, savings plans, and you know, maybe spot instances in AWS terms. This will take some analysis, and then like, you know, AWS will actually give you some suggestions. But you know, like our engineers actually like to joke about this, and then the reason why the cloud providers would like to provide you with, for example, savings plan, is to make sure that their infrastructure is fully utilized, so that they don't have any wastage themselves. And so like they are going to give you recommendations that will fit their bill rather than fully to your own benefit. So you know, like when you look out in the market on like how to leverage the reservation savings plans and spot instances, you know, you have to really trust the right source of information. I'm not saying that the cloud providers won't give you quote unquote right information, but you know, there's always like a scale of rightness here. Okay. Okay, so I've been you know, talking about the different strategies, and then like I've been also like pointing out the shortcomings of like the cost explorers of the world. And I just want to drill down a little bit more, or like just reiterate what I said. So a few points here. The cloud providers do not provide you with automation to implement the recommendations. I think I mentioned that before. For example, right sizing an instance can take a significant amount of work for the cloud ops staff. You know, like you are actually moving an instance from one shell to another, and this is not an easy task, and it takes a long time for manual operations. Again, like, you know, cloud cost optimization is not just about saving cost in the cloud, it's also about saving your labor cost. your OpEx can significantly drop if you have an automated or like policy-driven action on a cloud management platform. Okay, and then the second point is about startup and shutdown schedules. Cloud providers don't provide you with an automated schedule to start up and shut down your instances. And again, like I mentioned, non-production instances are idle 76% of the time, from a research, and you can save 76% of your costs on the non-production instances if you can start them up only when needed. So, you need a platform that can provide you with such scheduling. And the third point, cloud providers give you the ability to like auto scale your clusters of workloads, and this is like amazing. And then they give you the flexibility to grow your nodes, to grow your number of nodes when they detect that there's a higher demand for your workload and whatnot. And yet, they have their own limitations, and then we'll talk about this later in the session. And then cloud providers also do not help you manage your applications and services, such as Kubernetes. They'll give you like services like ECS, EKS, or like AKS, GKS, right? Like everything that has to do with Kubernetes, but within the confine of their own services. But if you want to stand up your own Kubernetes in the cloud, you're on your own. Right? They won't give you any visibility into your own like Kubernetes cluster namespaces and pods. You won't know how much you are spending on a cluster, a namespace, or pods and whatnot, right? So how are you going to manage them from a cost perspective? And also, like they are not going to give you the utilization metrics either. So you don't know whether or not you have set the right container reservation for your CPU or memory, right? So like you don't have visibility into those, and there are like a lot of other applications that we can go into there. And then going down to the next point. So if you look at the cloud providers, they give you the some grouping for budgeting, for example, so that you can say, hey, like for this group of resources, I want to spend only like $1,000 per month. You can do that, and that is only within their own cloud. If you ever go across cloud, or like if you ever want to go into like more granular elements of the applications or services, for example, like Azure Databricks, right? If you ever want to understand how much a certain pipeline is costing you, like you will have to like go back to really looking at the tagging, and then like somehow work them into the grouping. So like this kind of like what the cloud providers would give you is rather simplistic, and then you need something that can actually give you all the flexibility to include all the elements for a group, for chargeback and budgeting. So like a cloud platform should be able, like cloud management platform should be able to give to you. And then and then of course like they won't give you any sort of like inter-cloud cost comparison. They like AWS is not going to tell you, hey, like if you go to GCP for this machine learning workload, like you'll be able to like run 2 times faster and at 1/3 of the cost, right? So they will never give you that information, because like they want to lock you in. They want to provide everything to you, and then like shut you out from the rest of the world. So like this is where the cloud management platforms would come in. Can we do better? The answer is yes, right? Like for example, for Aquila Clouds, we provide you with the FinOps platform, and which is a SaaS platform that you can use for your cloud finance management. We give you automation, schedules, governance, and Kubernetes management. And it's not just a platform for finance management. You can see that we also provide you with all the utilization metrics and analysis and whatnot. So it's actually a full-blown cloud management platform, if you will. So I have mentioned multiple times that, hey, like just by knowing the recommendations, it's not enough. Like, you know, right sizing, it takes a long time to implement. And then like, what if you have like a facility to just like do a one-click implementation of that right size, or like you can schedule it even. And whatnot, right? Like it would save you a lot of time, a lot of like the headaches of the manual errors and whatnot. Like we have like at Aquila Clouds, we pride ourselves in having like all these robust features for implementing all of these recommendations in an automated way. So yeah, so that is something that you know, you might want to look into when you are considering a cloud management platform. And I mentioned that 76% of the non-production workloads are actually idle. So you know, I'm sure that the developers who are on this call, you're already thinking that, hey, like I can actually just create a cron job and whatnot, right? So yeah, it may seem easy, but the thing is, like, you know, starting up and shutting down can be easy, but figuring out what is the right schedule may not be, right? So we, you know, for Aquila Clouds, we ingest all of the cloud metrics, the utilization metrics and whatnot, and then we come up with a schedule that would fit, like, you know, 100% of your usage for a certain instance, or for a group of instances, and then you can readily just apply that schedule onto that instance or onto that group of instances. So you know, it's a lot easier to make the right decisions using our tool, and also we provide you with a facility to start and shut down the instances in a group in a certain sequence, like take into account of a 3-tier architecture, a web tier, application tier, and a database tier. You know, like you want the database tier to start first, then the application tier, and then the web tier. You can put that in a configured sequence, and then we'll honor that for you when we do the startup and shutdown. So everything is already done. Yeah, so there are products out there that just does this, and then they would charge, you know, a whole lot. And then, like, if you look at Aquila Clouds, this is already part of our platform as one, you know, one of our myriad of features. Okay. Previously, I also mentioned that auto scaling group have their own limitations. You know, the fact is that, you know, the cloud providers, or the you know, such as AWS, when they provide you with the auto scaling group, all these auto scaling groups are still working within the confines of the configured min size, desired capacity, and maximum size, and all of these are decided by you. And then you know, but you know, just give you one use case. Like for many of our users, they would like to bring down the whole cluster during non-operational hours, meaning that they want to schedule the minimum size to 0 during you know, non-operational hours. But you know, once they go back to Monday, they may want to have a safe buffer of 1 node as the minimum size. So how do they do that, right? Like, you know, like some people may think that, oh, this is just way too troublesome and then it's not worth it to do. But for many of our users, they find like our feature of like scheduling the configuration of ASG configuration rather useful, and that saved them like quite a lot of money and yeah, and so on. So this is something that we would highly recommend that you look into. And I mentioned that, like, you know, Kubernetes, like if you want to stand up your own Kubernetes environment on any of these clouds, unless you're using like, you know, any of the you know, ECS, EKS, and whatnot, right? Like you're not going to get the same treatment, you know, for Kubernetes yourself, right? But you still want to know, like, hey, like what is the instance type change? Like for example, like you still need to have your hosting VMs, and then like are they the right size? and you still need your need to make sure that you reserve your resources for the containers. Are they like, did you reserve the right CPU and right memory? Like you won't know until you have like, unless you have all these data. And we make it very simple for you, and then we also make the suggestions on like what to change to right in our platform. So that is something that is also not also lacking in the current cost explorers of the world. And then yeah, I mentioned like you need more sophisticated grouping for chargeback and budgeting. I think that I mentioned enough details there. So pretty much like the grouping has to like for many of the projects, especially for enterprises, your projects can go across different clouds, like different applications and different services. And you want to be able to go across clouds, and then like you want to be able to dig deep into the service. Like I said, like if you have Databricks, right, like you want to know which model pipeline is costing you how much, and then like you want to be able to group them into a certain domain. That's what we call it. And how do you do that, right? So we provide you with like all these financial governance facilities, and then you'll be able to know like for each of the groups, how much, or the domains that as we call them, like how much are you spending on them. And then like you can do budget control on any of these domains, and like we'll give you alerts. We're also going to have a feature that that can help you like limit any sort of activities for that group if the group has already exceeded a certain budget. So all of those are available in a cloud platform like ours. Last but not least, you want to be able to understand like the cost comparison between the different clouds. Like we have AWS, Azure, GCP, and Oracle coverage, and then like and then the and then some like some newcomers like DigitalOcean. They have like tremendous cost benefit for Linux machines, right? So like like you want to be able to compare and be able to make a conscious decision when you move to the cloud, or when you are considering moving to other clouds. And you need a tool like ours that can provide you with the the intercloud cost comparison. So so that is what I want to convey mostly today. And at this point, I want to hear back from you. I know that it's a large crowd, and it's hard for us to hear from you one by one. But there's a survey that I have put together. Just a one question. If you can let us know, like, what do you think is more relevant to our cloud, to your cloud finance management, like from the content of our webinar today? Like, please just check all that applies and submit. Yeah. So if you can take like just 1 minute to do so. Let me stop sharing, and then I will try to see if I can share the result at the end. Let me see. Okay. Yep, I'm seeing results coming in. Thank you so much. And let's give everybody another minute, and then I will show the response so far. Okay. So feel free to continue work, to give us more responses. I just want to keep going, and let me just show the result so far. Yeah, we're getting we're getting good responses. So automation is definitely the biggest winner tonight. That is something that the audience like. And then start and shut down schedule for the resources. The auto scaling group configuration is less exciting for people. And then I think the cost breakdown and recommendations for Kubernetes, that's only one person. And chargeback and budgeting for resources, I think that's 66% or 67% of people like that. And then the intercloud cost comparison also. Okay, more response came in. Yeah, so pretty much still this still similar trend. So that's great. That's great. Yeah, we if you have further feedback, you have a wow, it's changing in real time. So yeah. So auto scaling group is actually coming along too. Okay, all right. Okay, so without further ado, let me come back to the webinar. So we are offering free assessment for your cloud environment. Yeah, right now, if you have a good cloud environment that you would like to see if you are running optimally, like we can schedule for a time, and then we can onboard your cloud environment, and we will provide you with an assessment report. You don't have to give us any of the write permissions. You pretty much just have to give us read permission to your cloud environment, and then we can just start from there. So let us know right now. If you are interested, please just put it in the chat room, and then we can follow up with you after the call. Or you can, after the call you're interested, you can send us an email at sales@aquilaclouds.com, or you can contact me personally. My name is Desmond Chan, and then my email address is desmond@aquilaclouds.com. So I'll show that later in a slide as well. Okay, so any Q&A, any questions that I can answer for the audience, or any comments, any feedback, like we would like to hear from you. So I know that I muted everybody, and I think you can unmute yourself as well if you want to speak, or just simply enter, and we'll pick up your questions from the chat room. Okay, there's one question. To what extent do you employ tagging techniques? Yes, so we have our own grouping mechanism. Like for example, like when I mentioned our own domain for financial governance, and that domain is actually derived from different attributes of the resources, and tagging and tags being one of them. So if you have any cost allocation tags that you want to use, and you want to like group those resources with those tags, like we can put those in our own domain. And then like yeah, if you have any other tags yourself, or any other attributes like regions, or like I don't know, geographic location, or like instance type, instance family, like we can use all of those to create our own groups. So mostly like for our tagging, for tagging, we use them in our own grouping and domain formation purposes, and then also for showing some of the slicing and dicing of data. So we have this feature called Explorer, and in Explorer, you can sort the different resources by the different tags, and then you can see like how how they're faring in terms of cost and utilization. So when there's a good time, like I see that Jim, you have this question, like when there's a good time, maybe we can schedule for a time to go over the screens and in real time. Okay. Yes, and then one of our engineers, like our head of engineering, also mentioned that there's building tags and custom tags that we leverage as well. Okay. Anything else that we can answer for the audience? Okay, so let me move on. And again, if you still have any questions, like we're keeping our chat window open, and then our team will help answer those. So again, like we would like to keep in touch. The free assessment offer is here. So if you would like to work with us, it's totally free. Come to our website, aquilaclouds.com. We are revamping our website, so in a month time, you'll see a brand new appearance of aquilaclouds.com, and we will also talk more about CMCO. What does it really mean? Like, if you don't get the full picture tonight, which I didn't reveal it tonight, but if you're interested, like come to our website later, or like contact us. Contact me, Desmond at aquilaclouds.com. Or like contact any of our sales person at sales@aquilaclouds.com. And then we are also on all the social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So find us there, and we would like to definitely like be in touch with you, because you bring a lot of knowledge from your own organization and from your use cases, and as a humble vendor of cloud management platform, we would like to hear from you. Okay, so let me just stop right here. Let me just check the chat window. Yeah, do you normalize the data from the providers so that it can be analyzed using a BI tool, etc.? That's a good one. So like normalizing sounds sounds like a big word, but what I can tell you is that what we do is all of these cloud providers that we work with, we do group them into similar format, like for any of the resources is category, subcategory, and then name, that uniquely identifies one resource, and then we put them in the same table. So if that's what you mean by normalization, yes, we do. And then and also you can download all of these data across different clouds into a CSV file, and then you can do it, you can analyze it using another BI tool, however the way that you want as well. So definitely, we provide downloadable metrics across clouds in a sort of a normalized way. We work very closely with our customers. So Jim, if you have any special needs, let us know. We can tailor to the format that you need. Okay. All right, good questions. Anything else? Okay. Great. Okay, so again, this is great that we got a chance to talk to you tonight. It is our great pleasure and great honor to be connected. Please do not be a stranger. You have all of our contact information. You have mine personally, Desmond at aquilaclouds.com. We will reach back out after tonight's webinar with the link to our webinar recording, and then if you're interested in connecting more, we can send you more collaterals, or we can just talk about your your challenges in terms of managing your cloud environments. With that said, thank you so much, and please stay tuned. We will keep up with all these webinars every month. Next month, we will start doing our live cast on LinkedIn. So yeah, so hopefully like we will have you back then as well. Okay, have a good night and have a good day wherever you are. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.